Well, I wanted to dive some into your porn habit and kind of what you went through with that, because the one thing about this podcast that I think will really come through is the epidemic of pornography that's hitting our men right now.
Right.
And I think, they do statistics, and the statistics are already pretty massive. It's like, we know that a massive amount of men are addicted to this stuff, but it's such a shameful and secretive thing for a lot of people that I would say that the statistics are even higher, because some guys are probably not even as willing to admit it. Yeah, go ahead, Wood.
I have met very few men who haven't struggled with it.
Yeah, I would say the same thing.
Who are honest about it, at least.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, it affects so many guys. So I think your testimony on that, and just to dive in a little bit, and you can go as far as you want with it. But I think it's important to talk about, because I think I also struggled with the same thing, and what really got me out of it was, I mean, obviously the Lord, but also understanding other men were going through the same thing and trying to fight it. And I know there's a lot of guys who aren't trying to fight it or don't realize that it's something that they need to fight, but just understanding the reason behind it and stuff. And so I kind of want to just talk about that with you, like the addiction, and you're past it now. You said you have been a couple months out of it, and February is around when you stopped. And so I think it would be really cool just to talk about that, and like what brought you to get away from it, what you had to do to stop, and how you trusted the Lord through that, and how he delivered you from it, and even what it looks like now as somebody who's fighting it, because I can confidently tell you it's a battle that happens every day. Like, I hear some guys who say like, the Lord has delivered me from lust, but I've come to understand that does not mean that you're not battling it all of the time, So
yeah, it's not all the time, but it is a daily battle. I also want to make this clear: the Lord is my strength. So remember that the Lord is my strength and my shepherd. He's going to guide you, and so be confident in that. Yeah, to answer that question, I think how I dealt with it was, first I had a crush on a girl, so that helped a little bit, honestly. I'm going to be completely honest. I had a crush on a girl, and I wanted to pursue something with her. Did not happen, but maybe the Lord blessed me through that, just getting through that. So that helped.
And why did the girl help?
Because I kind of just like said to myself, like, oh, this is wrong, because now I really am committing lust. So I had to just take it all the way. So
you're basically getting rid of it to pursue this relationship with the girl, because you knew that having both things like just didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't. And I knew that. Literally, if you look at most marriages that end, the guy's usually watching porn, or the girl. Not common with the girl, but most of the time it's the guy. It kills a marriage. It kills your spirit life. It kills your heart. It kills everything.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of more in January, and I just slowly was stopping and just calming, and I was like, I'm going to cut one thing off at a time. TV, no more. Not going to be watching TV by myself until I just don't care about it anymore. I only now can do that.
Why TV? Why was that what you went for?
You can find, because my phone had lockdown stuff on it.
Oh, okay.
And so
what was the TV? Are you saying that was something that you were like gravitating towards that would instigate?
you can find stuff on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was doing. Phone, I found stuff on it. You can find, if you search,
literally can find it.
If you search long enough, you can find it.
I found the craziest video that like came out like 11 years ago, but it just hit my feed, and it was this kid who found pornography on his Nintendo DS. Like, I mean, you are not safe from anything. Like,
and so I want to make that clear. Like, you could do as much restrictions as you want, and it's going to help.
Yeah.
So do that. If that helps, do it. If it makes it to where like I'm too lazy to go to it, works.
Yeah.
Don't argue with it. Like, just if it works, it works. But I find in most cases that's not how it works, and it's more of the man making the choice.
Yeah, that's an important point, because you can access pornography or these lustful things anywhere, but it really comes down to the core of the man, because you really can't escape, especially in this society. There's no escaping it.
Old Testament speaks very against it, especially in Proverbs.
Yeah.
Proverbs, man, read that. These holy man, like David, Solomon. Solomon's literally called one of the wisest men, if not the, like, besides Jesus, if not the wisest man, because he was blessed with that. Mm-hmm. And you're telling me he struggled with adultery and lust that bad?
Yeah.
Like, that just tells you, like, you may be the wisest, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to get out of it. That's when you have to call on the Lord to give you strength. As the Lord is my strength. Mm-hmm. So remember that. The Lord is my strength. And always remember that. And when you're about to watch it, go find someone. It's really hard to watch something like that in front of people. Yeah. Trust me. Yeah. It's really difficult.
Yeah, go search for somebody in the house or something.
Yeah, just like hang out with someone.
Yeah.
Text one of your friends. Be like, can we hang out?
Yeah. I think that's good. Yeah.
Go to the gym. Like, I actually, one of the most helpful things has been going to the gym.
Gym isn't it? Yeah, I think one of those, like, pointing that out too. One, I want to go to the thing where you said go search out a guy. I saw the funniest thing where somebody was talking about that, and they were like, just turn on worship music. You are not going to watch porn and listen to worship music at the same time.
That's so true, though.
That is genius. I mean, that's absolutely
that is
genius.
true. Just always have AirPods in the ear.
Yeah, or just always have worship music playing.
You are different if you're doing that.
No, for real.
Like, you were different.
But also the workout thing. Like,
it does.
A lot of people talk about, like, getting out of the addiction, and what's hard about the addiction is, like,
feels natural.
I mean, it's natural, and it's something that you kind of lean on, and it takes up your time. And people just, like, there's this one verse the Lord just taught me about this, because I had never known what this actually meant. But in one of the Gospels, Jesus is giving a parable, and he's talking about how a demon is in this guy, and the guy, like, purges the demon out of him, and the demon leaves, and he goes through, like, desert lands or something like that. And then he circles back around, he comes back, and he sees the house is, like, kept up and empty and clean. And he grabs 7 of his demon friends, and he comes in and he takes place back in that house. And I always like kind of struggled with that. I was like, I really just don't understand what this means. But I think in this context, I really understand it now. Is when you have an addiction to pornography, and it doesn't just have to be pornography, it can be anything. Mm-hmm. It's something that's keeping you from the Lord, distancing you from him, and you want to purge that, and you can successfully do it. Because in the way of pornography, that might be like, I didn't watch pornography for like an entire week. Yeah. And but then guys will fall back into it, and they're like, why did I fall back into it? And it's the whole thing, and they'll binge harder. Like, they'll abstain, they'll think they're doing good, and then they'll fall back, but they'll fall harder. And that's, I think, what Jesus is pointing out in that verse is, he brings in, the demon leaves because you purged him, but he comes back and he brings back the 7 demons when you have your house unkept. Yeah. And I think that's important, because he's saying, because your house is empty, it leaves room for these guys to come back in. It leaves room for the addiction to come back in. Yeah. And so basically, circling back to your gym thing, is like, you have to replace that emptiness. You've kept up you've cleaned up your room. Now who's coming into it? Who are you allowing in? It can't just remain empty. You have to replace it. And so, guys will just try to, like, get rid of porn, and they'll be like, this is all I have to do. I just have to get rid of it. And I keep falling back into it, and I don't know why. It's because you have to replace it. And the best way to replace it is with the Lord. You put him in your house. But, there's also other things and activities that you can do, like go to the gym and work out and replace that. And it's like, if you start feeling an urge, just be like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym. Like, another thing is, like, fleeing. Like, the Lord says, like, the battle is so intense that, like, you cannot win. You are going to lose. Yeah. And so I know a lot of guys are like, I can just, like, have my phone by my bed at night or something like that. And it's like, and, like, just sit there and, like, not do it. I'm going to, like, meditate and be like, focus on the Lord, not do it. It's like, it's going to beat you, and it's going to beat you bad. So, like, just run. Like, there have been moments where I've been like, I just have to leave the area, and I'll just sprint down to, like, another room or towards somebody. That's what Joseph had to do when what was that lady, the Pharaoh, was it the Pharaoh, his wife, and she was, like, trying to seduce him, and he
just ran out of the house. It wasn't the Pharaoh, it was whoever bought him in the slave trade.
That's right.
Pharaoh was a little later. Man, I can't remember who it was.
I can't either, but I know it was somebody important that was over Joseph, and then it was his wife, and his wife like grabbed Joseph, and Joseph was like, "Bro, heck no, I'm out of here." I think your testimony is really important, just because, like, I mean, you're here, and this is like a really hard thing to admit that, like, you went through that, and it was hard, but you are delivered from it. Like, you are. going to have to battle it for a long time, you know, and it's not going to be easy, but you like have been abstaining since like February, and it's been months since you've been away from it. And that's what I've come to understand is like, you know, the first month is really hard, and then you get to month 3, and that's where like the worst has happened.
I started in January.
Okay.
I started my work. I was done
in February. Yeah. That's really quick, because not everybody can say that.
Well, there was a lot of things that happened. Like I said, there was a lot of things that the Lord did to make it easier. And that was a blessing. I think the Lord knew it was like, and I just want to go ahead and make this clear. I have written on my notes, I have how I fought depression and how I fight lust. Fight, present tense. Don't look at me and think, oh, he's got it all figured out. Yo, I want to go every single day on my phone and search it. That's a daily battle. But like you said, it's just replacing it. So now, instead of doing that, I'm like, I'm going to make a worship playlist.
Yeah.
Do something like that. That fills in some time. That'll probably get some of your dopamine out. If you're like, I'm like shaking. I've literally been like that before. Like I was like,
oh, it's a drug. It's
literally like you're on something. You're like, I will like go. I'm like, I will just go and talk to like my mom or brother, and we'll just talk.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about spiritual things. That really helps.
That'll get you away from it. Yeah. Especially the second you're around somebody else, it just fades.
And the gym is really helpful. It's also another trial by itself, because girls do come in wearing just like straight up just like crop tops.
Oh yeah, right.
So I like my eyes hurt. I'm like doing shoulder presses like this, like my face is all the way down like that. I can't look in the mirror because some girls like behind me like flexing her butt in the mirror. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Crazy. I really don't. And like that's a good thing. I don't want to see it.
Yeah.
Like that's a beautiful thing that Jesus has done in my heart. It's like a switch. He like switched it up.
Yeah.
He like switched it off. Like I really don't desire that anymore. Also, it's in commercials, guys. Like if you're a dad and you don't want your like young kids to struggle with it, it's in commercials now. There's like straight up just underwear commercials everywhere. Right. Like that is a way to go to that. And I don't love that we're talking about all this, but like I genuinely think it's like it is difficult, and they're trying to expose this to kids. Yeah.
Oh, kids are the main target.
Yeah.
Because their brains are just so underdeveloped that if you just develop them to form this addiction and think this is normal, like it's way harder to get away from if you've started younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important to talk about that stuff really, really early on.
My parents did a really good job of telling me what I need to know and what I don't need to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did a good job.
And every kid's different too.
Every kid is different. Every kid has their own. Like some kids may not struggle with that. Some kids may really struggle with that. And so it's like, again, I'm not a parent, but like I'm just using an example of my parents have given me in my life. They've really tried preventing it, and they have done they've done as far as they can do.
Yeah.
They can go as far as they can go in this modern society. At some point they just kind of said like, it's your choice. And so that's important to realize. And that's a freedom that I abused, but now I don't. That's maturity. And so that I just want to make that clear. Like porn is just such a bad thing because it is perverting something that is beautiful, but it should not be seen by the random human eye. Wait until marriage.
Yeah.
Not don't ever lust or watch porn. But like, wait until marriage. There is intimacy in that. Like, there is importance in this. Scripture is like it words it so beautifully. Jesus says it is such a good thing.